In this tutorial, loads textures, making it visually stunning and ready for action. Alright, so let's dive in. So first I'd like to use this reference image that we're gonna follow to build our base. So I'd like to simply drag it and drop it in our Blender scene. So here on the right side, I'd like to create a new menu. It's gonna be an image editor, so you can click here and switch it to the image editor so that you can be able to drag and drop images. So let's bring our base game environment. You're gonna find it in the resources and let's start working on it. So first what I'd like to do is to press A to select everything, X and delete all the assets that we got in our scene. After that we can press Shift A, go to mesh, and we can start with a plane. So for the dimensions of our plane, I'd like to give it 160 on the width or on the length of it. So SX we can give it, or actually let's do it from the N. We can press N to access this transform menu, and on the X we can give it 160 meters for the length of our base mesh, and for the Y, for the width, we can give it, for example, 20 to 25 meters. So feel free to choose any size that you like. Alright, so now let's divide our game environment into 3 sections. So we're having this section that is divided by river, and we're having this mid section that has an earth crack, and we're having this small river, and find this section here. So let's go ahead and divide it into 3 parts. So we can insert 2 edge loops, or actually let's start with first edge loop. We can take it sideways here, and we can insert the second edge loop so that we can be able to grab this face and move it up. You can take it up, something like that. And after that we can insert an edge loop to define the river. Control R again, and let's add it right here. We can take this face and move it up. So for this location we're going to be having this river. So after that I would like to add the third river. We need to have it, for example, here. Control B to bevel this part like this. We can scale it a little bit up and extrude it down. Also we can activate the snap tool. We can switch it to the vertex, and we can snap this face to this face so that we can have the same rivers at the same height. So let's delete these faces. We can select them and delete them. Okay, I'd like to scale this face on the X, so SX, scale it a little bit down like that. Perfect. So the next step is going to be to define the path where our character is going to be walking. So let me just show you that in the final results. So this path here, I'd like to define it a little bit better. Okay, so on the edit mode, I want you to insert 2 edge loops, so Control R. First one right at the middle, you can click, and Control B, and we can bevel it, something like this. And after that, we have to extrude it down, but I don't want to extrude everything. So I'm going to select this face, and let's press I to create an inset. But as you can see, this inset, the dimensions of this inset are not even. We're having a big gap here instead of this small gap. So let me just revert back, and we can exit the edit mode, and we need to apply the scale. So the scale, it's not even. If we press N, you can see that the scale it's set to 80 versus 12. So we have to do this, Control A, and let's apply the scale. So if we go back and press I again, we're gonna be having an even distance for these inset edges. Okay, so I would like to drag this one a little bit down. You can delete the start, X, delete it, select this edge, and we can snap it to the end like this. Okay, so here let's think this over. I think that's fine. I'm gonna just leave it like that. Okay, after that let's do the same thing to all this path. So let's press I, and we can take it down. Let me just get rid of the snap tool. You can take this one down like this. Okay, and finally let's do it to the same top. You can select this face, press I, and let's drag it down. Okay, I'm gonna delete this face, and let's grab this edge and we can snap it to the end. You can activate the snap tool Just activate it or snap it like that. Perfect, so we got our path and it looks perfect. So the third step is gonna be to add some earth cracks, just like what we got here. So let's do that. I'm gonna press 7 to go to the top. So basically these can be used as obstacles for our character to jump on. So we can insert, for example, an edge loop right here. Control R. Horizontally we can add another edge loop. And we can try this. I'm gonna try to select these two vertices, try to scale them real down. We can take these to the left side and try to expand this one a little bit like that. We can insert, for example, extra edge loops here. We can take this one like this to define that crack even better. Something like this. Okay, after that, we can scale, let me scale this on the X. And we can grab these faces and we can extrude them down. You can select this face, X, delete it, and also here at the middle, Control R. We can try to randomize this section. So you can go to Mesh, Transform, and choose Randomize. We can access this tab that we got on the bottom, and we can increase this amount, something like this. So now we randomize that edge line. As you know, cracks are not symmetrical, so we need to add that randomize effect. Same thing here on the bottom. We can repeat the same step. You can press Alt, Shift Alt to select both of these edges. And let's go to Mesh, Transform, Randomize. We can increase that amount to something like this. But we must be careful, we should not have any clipping whatsoever. So here we don't have, let me just see. I think we're having a clipping. Let me just hide the subdivision, the snap tool. You can check this one like this, should not have any clipping. So next I want you to repeat the same steps that we did to, for example, here we can add We can add plenty of edge loops. Okay, let's check the uphills. I would like, for example, to add some edge loops. We can define this edge a little bit better. Also, I'd like to get rid of these corners that we got here. So I don't want to have this curved corner. So to fix this problem, we can go to the advanced in the subdivision properties. You can click here, and in the boundary smooth, you can switch it from all to keep corners. So now we kept the corners of our game environment. So also here, let's insert some edge loops to define that edge a little bit better. Alright, so now for the last step that we must do, which is to randomize our game environment. As you can see here, so the river is not perfect, so we're having some cracks, we're having some imperfections. So we need to apply the same thing to our game, to the base of our game environment. So to do that, we're going to be relying on one of the most important tools in Blender, which is this proportion. Scatter our assets inside our game environment, there is two ways. I call it the hard way and the smart way. So the hard way is to simply keep duplicating one by one. So let's do this, Shift D. You can duplicate it like this, place it here, you can spin it around and place it, for example, here. Shift D again, put it on the other side, spin it like this, and keep doing that. So this way is not the best way because it's gonna take a lot of time and it's not controllable. So on the other hand, I'd like to show you a better way using the particle system. So let's do that. So for example, we can start with the tree. Alright, so we're gonna start with the trees. So we're gonna scatter the trees across our game environment. So to do that, I would like to select my game environment, this part here, Control Space, let's go back and we need to go to the particle system. This icon here, particle properties. And I'd like to add a new particle properties and let's call it trees. Alright, I would like to switch it to here instead, not an emitter. So now it's scattered across our game environment. So I'd like to reduce the number to something like 250. And we can scroll a little bit down here till we find the render. You can click on it and we need to render as an object. So the object, you can pick it from here. You can use this instance object, you can use this eyedropper, click on it and pick the tree. So as you can see, we're using the tree, we're scattering the tree across our game environment. Also, we need to make sure of something. Let me just select our game environment. You can press N, go to item. So the rotation and the scale must be set to 1, 1, and 1, and 3, 000 here. Otherwise, you can do this, Control A, and let's apply rotation and scale. So same thing needs to go for the tree. Let me just check the tree. So as you can see, it's not right. So the scale is a mass as well as the rotation. So Control A, and let's apply rotation and scale. So now it's a little bit different here. Alright, so let's go back to the particle settings and we need to work on it a little bit. So let me just tweak the scale. So for the scale, let's increase it up. So I'm gonna set it to 0.75. Probably that's too much. Okay, so for the scale, let's reduce it a little bit down. So let's just keep it just like this, just for now. So next what I'd like to do is this. I want to tell Blender the areas where we want to have trees. So this is an important aspect. So to do that, I'm gonna select again my game environment and we can go to this object data properties and we can add a new vertex group. So let's click on it here and we can call this vertex trees. And on the edit mode, I'm gonna press 7 to go to the top and we can select, for example, some areas. So I want to have and we can switch this menu to the UV editor. Also, we need to split it, but actually let's split it in the next tutorial. So now what we need to do is to switch to the edit mode, and we can select the entire game environment, and I want you to press U and choose the smart UV project, and you can click on OK. So now as you can see, our game environment is unwrapped. You can press Control Space. So this is all the UVs of our game environment. So in the next Camel lecture, we're going to start the texturing process of our game environment. Alright, so now it's time to start texturing our game environment. So first I'd like to switch this menu from the UV editor to the shader editor. And I'd like to click on new. So make sure that you are selecting our game environment. So let's click on new, and we can call it GE, meaning that game environment. Alright, so we got here the principled BSDF connected to the material output. So let me just take this one to the right side just so that we can have enough room. Alright then, perfect. And as a last step, we need to save that paint texture that we were working on. So to do that, we can switch here to the UV editor, and I'd like to pick we call it GOEGE paint. This image texture, the UV map of our game environment. So we gotta save it, otherwise it's only gonna be saved automatically. So let's click on image and save as, and you can save it under any name that you want. And basically that's it. And there you have it, we finished making our game environment. By the way, this is a part of a tutorial series that teaches you how to design 3D characters, animate them, and use them to build games in both Unity and Unreal Engine. So the link is gonna be down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in future projects.